Greetings and welcome into my divine and sacred space. I'm Revered Minister from One Spirit Interfaith. I am Zebia, High Priestess of the Kemetic Order. And first of all, I'd like to apologise because in one of my previous shorts, I mispronounced the name of the President of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. So I would just like to make that correction. The New Earth paradigm is here. The energetic shift can be seen. It was seen on the 30th of April when across the earth, all nations protest and marched with their disapproval towards their imperialistic regime. Why? Because the president of Burkina Faso is no longer allowing the imperialistic ex-powers to siphon off all their resources and to leave their country and their people in poverty. He has declared a sovereign country and he is unifying Africa. Now, the imperialistic powers that were, obviously, if you look at their history, one of their main strategies that they use and methodology is to divide and rule. And they certainly did divide and rule Africa so that they could have access to all of the resources that Africa produces. Africa is a very rich continent. It is the breadbasket of the world. And yet still the people were kept impoverished by the powers that were. That has changed. And the people have come out to express their solidarity and their support with the president of Burkina Faso. The world governments are panicking because they did not expect this. They didn't see it coming, but you chosen ones, you did. It was expected. And I'm very, individual, very happy for that. Another thing I will say, from what I've learned and researched about the history of Africa, when Africa was the world leader, there were no wars, there was no destruction. It was golden age, and Africa shared its prosperity, it shared its knowledge, it shared its wisdom, and it shared its resources. The other thing I will say is that the Most High, to whom I give thanks to for everything, provided the earth and the fullness thereof. Everything that human beings need for their survival is in the earth. And I also know for a fact that it's the distribution of the world's wealth that is unequal. If the distribution of the wealth was distributed fairly, like it used to be when Africa was the world leader, every living human being on the face of this planet and every child that is being born, right, would be millionaires 10 times over. Which is why I'm happy and I'm excited. Because the regime that has been ruling the earth for the last 400, 500 years, it's been very damning, very destructive, and governed by greed. And greed is not innate to spirituality, and greed is not innate to human nature. It's man-made. Why should one person have all and another person have nothing? That's not love. That's hate. There should be no disparity on the face of the earth. So that's why I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a new leader, a new paradigm where things are done more justly. And yes, some of you might be afraid, especially if you live in the West or in Europe or in England, because you're already feeling the sting of the lack of surplus of resources from these ex-colonies, which is why I can speak for Britain. There is a big overhaul in the welfare benefits system, and cuts are being made left, right and centre, because basically the imperialistic powers and their countries lived large on the back of countries like Africa. So yeah, there's going to be some panic, there's going to be some fear, because your quality of life might seem to be changing, but it's actually making way for a better quality of life and a more just system to be put into place. Africa is rich. The people are rich with talent and innovation. All the stories and the false narrative that you was fed about Africa, that's not the case. And even though they were oppressed, they were kept down. They wasn't even allowed to eat their own food that they were growing because it was all siphoning off going to the West. They wasn't allowed to produce anything, build anything for themselves. Against great odds, they still survived, which is a testament to the strength of those people and what they experienced and endured, and still was able to live. Right, so, yeah. I did pull 4 cards earlier. This is the 3rd time I'm trying to make this video. I've lost one and the others were interrupted. However, I'm going to get this message out. So the first card is the 10 of Wands. And 10s, it's always cycle completion. And Wands is burden, especially the 10 of Wands. And when you're carrying a heavy burden, nothing's working for you. It's an uphill battle or struggle, right? That has now come to an end. And what you have now, chosen ones, is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is slow, but sure-footed, steady, obedient, and disciplined, which is who you are, chosen ones. And then after Knight of Pentacles, we have the King of Pentacles. Very secure, solid, abundant, prosperity. From the Knight of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. For a few of you, it might happen immediately. For most of you, it's not going to happen overnight, but you will get there. You will get there. And then once you're in the King of Pentacles, there's then the 4 of Swords. Rest period. Some people call it the coma card. But in this instant, because it's coming after the King of Pentacles, it's the rest period. It's where you can rest your mind, take a rest from your business, take a rest from your studies, take a rest from your problems, because the problems are no longer there. And you've arrived. Basically, you've arrived. So you're burdenless, so you can afford to, recline and appreciate what you've accomplished and what you've achieved and what you've built. That's on a personal level. You can also take it on a global level, right, pertaining directly to Captain Ibrahim Traore as well, and the new Earth paradigm that is now being seen. So that is all good, all good, all good. And yes, let's have a Goddess Rising Oracle card now. And we've got Brazen, which is Satira, and that's an image of her. We don't really know what she looks like. That's just an image. And she carries the energy of brave, bold, brazen, and barefaced, and she can cast a spell with her hips. She's known throughout South America. And her guidance to you today, chosen ones, step up, go for it, partner with the divine to make brazen choices, and everything meant to diminish you will elevate you. All who mean you harm will fall away. Your hurdles are now illusions because you are plugged into the source. Yeah, and on an individual level, I mean, I've experienced that people have taken instant dislike to me, or they've hated me for whatever their reason. I just refer to them as karmics or disagreeable spirits, and where they've slandered me, they've, smeared my name, told lies about me. And all I do, and all I was doing, is minding my own business and focusing on my own divine path and journey. And without having to lift a finger, all their ill will and intention towards me, guess what? Returned to them 7 times. They still didn't learn. They still tried to say it's something I was doing to harm them. Well, that was never the truth. They did it to themselves. So chosen ones, you know, all the hurdles, they are illusions. And I say you're divinely protected, and Captain Ibrahim Traore is definitely divinely protected. The amount of times they've made attempts on his life, right? And right about now, all the world leaders that wanted to have him arrested and removed from his position, they'll have to fall away, because the people have spoken by coming out and voting with their feet. Right across the world, all nations. Brilliant. Right, so her embodiment to you today, chosen ones, make the brazen decision. What would you dare to do if you knew you couldn't fail? It is brazen to be unapologetically you. It is brazen to speak up for someone not in the room. It is brazen to choose a different spiritual path or career than your community. It is brazen to build your family your way. Goddess force energy is brazen. And her declaration to you today is, I am bold, brave, shameless, and brazen. I am bold, brave, shameless, and brazen. I am bold, brave, shameless, and brazen. And that's who you are, chosen one. And Captain Ibrahim Traore, he is an embodiment of the chosen ones, because he decided to do things his way and to put the interests of his people first and the sovereignty of his country, and to hold back on resources that will benefit his people so that they are no longer impoverished. You know, it's economically, it's the fastest growing country. He has done so much in his 2 years of leadership, but France in particular and America are not pleased with him, because they want to have full control over the wealth and the resources of his country. And he is brazen and barefaced, and he is telling them, no, I'm going to do it my way. This is my family. So well done to you, Captain Ibrahim Traore. Okay, so I don't think I've got anything else to say. It's watch, pray, do what you have to do. Know that you cannot and you will not fail, because chosen ones, you are part of the Most High's army. And on that note, I am going to close this reading and this message. Stay true to who you are. Be your authentic self. Be brazen. Chosen ones always take the road least travelled. And one of the labels that I was given as part of my identity is an African. So therefore, I am an African, and I will be free. And like you, I am also a chosen one. So therefore, I have greatness, love, and abundance within me, around me, and wherever I go. Divine oneness, perfect love, and peace out. Oh, and if this message resonated with you, please do give a thumbs up. If you have not already subscribed, please do subscribe, or even share a comment, and it allows me to reach a wider audience, because this is part of my assignment, is to give hope and inspiration to the chosen ones.